صدري قرآن املأ قلبي قرآن واسق حياتي.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, brothers and sisters, and welcome to Ask Musleh. Today's question, inshallah, is titled, I hate my wali, so what do I do? And this is a daughter who actually has a wali, but the problem is that that wali or that guardian makes bad decisions for their daughter. So what should she do in that particular situation? Number one is that the person has to understand, the daughter, she has to understand that the waliship that her father has is something that Allah gave to the father. It's not something that she can just uplift and remove from him. It's a right that Allah gave the father, and that right can only be removed under specific circumstances. Now, in this situation here, the first thing that she has to do is that she has to go to an Islamic judge if she has access to one. So majority of the world today, especially in Islamic world, it's very difficult to find that. So her next best choice is, and this here I say to you brothers and sisters before I mention that choice, is that scholars have debated this issue for years and years. Even till today they debate, what do you do when there's no Islamic judge in your country? What choices do you have? Shaykh rahimahullah, which is one of the contemporary scholars that died in the early 90s, he issued a very important fatwa or decision based on this particular problem. And he mentions that it was permissible if a person doesn't have a judge, that it was allowed for them to at least go to an Islamic scholar or imam, somebody who has the reputation of being a scholar or somebody who is known to be a good imam and a resource for the Muslims in that community. So what I would say here to this particular sister in this situation is, understand and remember that the waliship is something that Allah gave your father. So the father here, he has that right to be the wali, but if he's making bad decisions for the daughter, so for example, if he's saying to the daughter, I don't want you to marry a religious Muslim. You can marry a Muslim, but if he doesn't pray and he drinks and he smokes and he parties, then that's all good, I don't have a problem with that. If he makes those kind of decisions for her, then she's allowed to go to an imam or a scholar and present her case to them. And what the imam or scholar will do is that they will speak to the father and encourage the father and try to counsel the situation as best as you can. If at that point the father still says, I don't care, this is what I want for my daughter and so on, then here is where the imam has to play that judge role. And he makes a decision here on his own behalf that this daughter here is dealing with a particular situation. She's going to lose her Islamic identity, and he's allowed to override that. Like I said, this is an ijtihadi issue. It's an issue that has to be researched, and it's different for every single family. But just to answer the question here, if you have a wali who doesn't really qualify to be a good wali, and just remember there are 5 to 7 conditions of a good wali. One of them is that the wali has to be just and he has to be adil. He has to be just and he has to be fair. He has to be able to make those good decisions for his daughter, inshallah. And if he doesn't have that, then hopefully these options could solve the problem for her. So may Allah Azza wa Jal make it easy for her and for everyone else who's dealing with a situation like this. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
رحمن ساعدنا